instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. Well, welcome everybody to the Flagstick Podcast, presented again this week by Adidas, introducing the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 Vent Footwear to help golfers handle the heat this season. The collection features a mix of silhouettes for men and women made with heat-ready and no-show technology to keep golfers cool and dry so they can perform their best. Both the ZG23 Vent and Ultimate 365 Tour apparel are available now on adidas.ca, the Adidas app, and selected retailers worldwide. Jumping right off the top with the jumping again, make sure that you're following across all social media networks on Instagram, X, Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much wherever you get your normal podcasts. We really encourage you to hit up our YouTube channel, subscribe there, like us, click the notification bell, and make sure that you never miss a single episode. Welcome everybody. I'm Jeff Potter. This is, as always, my right hand man, Scott McLeod, with me.
G'day. What are you laughing about?
Well, I had to laugh at. Well, I was laughing kind of as I had to be careful because I'm reading the Adidas sponsor thing, and I'm saying to handle the heat this season is so freaking hot.
I know it's
like
right
if there's ever a time, a shameless plug, if there's ever a time to get out and get some of this Adidas apparel, with the for the Ultimate 365 Tour apparel. Right now would be a great time because the heat that we're dealing with right now, I'd wear anything that kept me cooler, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I started snickering because I wanted to say, and I didn't want to interrupt the commercial part of it, but it was funny because it's so dang hot right now.
I was having some flashbacks there too about going and testing the Fleece and Fairways products last year in Whistler.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, we're expecting, it's late September. We're expecting sort of, cooler weather, maybe some rain or whatever. And it was the same sort of deal. It was like 27, 28 degrees. And you're like trying on fleece pants. And it wasn't exactly ideal.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault. You can't predict the weather. No. I mean, you can't plan that far ahead.
No,
obviously they would have known a few days out that it wasn't going to be what they were expecting it to be. But my God, that would be the opposite of that would be trying to test out some shorts and some stuff to keep you cooler. It's freaking 10 degrees out or some stupid thing.
It is what it is. But hey, you know what? I think a lot of people are happy right now with the heat, whatever it is. At least it's not snowing and you can get out there and enjoy some late season golf.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't know how long that's going to last for. It could be the way the weather's been going these days. I mean, who knows? We could be getting this weather until friggin' the week before Christmas. Who the heck knows?
I wouldn't be upset, but
I wouldn't be upset in the least.
We'll see.
Already made the determination there's not going to be an ODR this year, so I don't even have to worry about putting up the boards in the fall. So if it wants to stay this warm until December, well then great, I'll play golf.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we were talking about it, I guess, last night. I mean, a lot of people that are trying to get into the rinks right now, you can't even get into the rinks. They're not even, a lot of them are not even operating in Eastern Ontario, at least. Just, a little bit too much work for the compressors, a little bit too hot within the, within the environment. So, kind of an odd thing, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. As I was saying, I was supposed to do evaluations for the rep program here in the big metropolis of Metcalfe, and showed up and there was nobody in the parking lot. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here 15 minutes before this thing starts. There's nobody in the parking lot. What, am I at the wrong rink?
Looks like a big indoor pool.
Pretty much, that's what it was. I remember the old days at the Minto Arena on Lancaster Road there, where the Ottawa Athletic Club used to be, and we had I always used to book the little studio pad in there for
Did you ever get fog in there?
Fog, there were times we'd go in there and they'd flood the ice and there'd be literally water still sitting on the ice during the whole session. The goalies hated it because they're flopping around in the crease and the thing is full of water. Just not like it, because it just can't handle summer. No. I mean, we like having our rinks year round, but the compressors have to work overtime when it's this hot.
A lot of the modern rinks are usually okay. It's usually some of the older ones. I can remember the old Memorial Center in Belleville. I remember going in there in the springtime, and it just looked like a big steam thing from the jungle or whatever. And you're thinking, why
It's
are
a
you even
rainforest
bothering
cafe.
people? Yeah, pretty much. They should have just converted it to that. So anyways, so what's
All
going
right.
on today?
Well, we got a good show. I say that every week, but we
do
do have a good show because we always do have a good show. And if it's not a good show, we make it a good show. The front nine this week, we're going to get caught up on a little bit of news.
Yep.
Some tournament seasons winding down a little bit as we get into the September month and the fall time. So we're going to wrap up a few things there. We're going to get out to the lesson tee with Kevin and Jake Haime. We'll do that at the end of the front nine. And on the back nine, we're going to talk about travel. We're going to discuss the Sandhills regions of North Carolina, the Pinehurst area, some highlights, advice, and trips and whatnot, because we have spent some time down there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Should be a fun conversation for people to listen to and somewhat informative. But let's jump onto the front nine, presented by Metcalfe Golf Club. A natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Golf season is here, so don't wait. Keep saving. Buy your game packs, big time game packs. Buy those game packs and get ready to hit the first tee. To get those, visit metcalfegolf.com and shop for them now. Okay, Scotty Mac.
Yes, sir.
On the front nine, let's jump. Let's start off.
We're jumping. You're still jumping.
No,
we're gonna have to. It's gonna be like a swear jar. We're gonna have a jump jar.
No, I'll go broke.
We can have a jump jar for you.
Yeah,
I still should have, and obviously, I say obviously too much. That is my bugaboo throughout 4 million interviews and 4 million podcasts that I've done. I say that word too often, so I work hard on that. But jump is your deal. That's for sure.
Jump jar. Okay, well, we'll see if I can't work on a jump jar for the next episode and see how much money I can.
Better make it a small amount, or it can get expensive.
Exactly. The OVGA Junior OVGA Cup.
Yeah.
It kicked off on Saturday.
Yep.
And at the Royal Ottawa Golf Club on the Royal Nine, I was there.
Oh, were you?
I was there, but I wasn't covering it. I was playing the Royal Ottawa.
Nice.
Sorry. Yeah. I boycotted my duties as a magazine / website publisher for the. Forget the kids. I'm playing.
Yeah, there you go. That was the U13s, and then the U19s. They also played as well. They were at Carleton, and I forget where they were their second one. But anyways, whatever the case. Obviously the season wrapping up there for the Ottawa Valley Golf Association. If people want to check out the winners for those particular events, the U13s and 19s, you can go on to flagstick.com. But we'll just share the season-long point winners.
Good idea.
Thanks to Jim Davidson, who got those over to us. Junior girls was Antonia Ho from Ottawa Hunt, another. She wins a lot. Juvenile girls, Xinyao Zhang, another good winner from Rivermead. Bantam girls was Amelia McFarland from Ottawa Hunt. Pee-wee girls was Olivia Pattison. These are really familiar names. They're getting more familiar, winning a lot of trophies this year on various events. She's plays out at Colonnade. Junior boys, we know this guy.
Yes, sir.
Little Shane Stanley. Congrats to Shane and playing out of Carleton. Still too bad, Shane, that we had to kick your butt.
Yeah, second half Smugglers. Of the dynamic duo that didn't get it done against the old guys.
Look at us picking on kids. Juvenile boys, Hogan Play out at Camelot. Obviously, we know him very well, or at least his dad for sure. Bantam boys, Michael Vavone at Royal Ottawa, had a great season. This kid's been playing very well, as has Jack Sample, who won the Pee-wee boys out of Rivermead. He had an outstanding season. So congrats to the year-long winners for the OVGA Junior Cup.
Wonderful. Yeah. Hogan Blaze dad, Mark, longtime member of the PGA of Ottawa. Actually, I believe is back in the PGA of Ottawa after regaining his amateur status for a short period of time and actually played in the Flagstick Open a bunch of years back. So congratulations to all of those season-long point winners. And maybe with this point win, Shane will get some motivation for next year to play better when he's field guys. Sorry.
Shane, we're not picking on you.
Yeah. Intersectionals. I think we're kind of done with this now, right? Like this is
OVGA, yes.
OVGA Intersectionals have now completed the OVGA Senior Women's Intersectionals have done a Team Highlands repeat victory in Division A. Now there are more divisions. Yes, we do kind of only sort of throw out the announcement of who won Division A right now, but there's a lot of other divisions, and you can check those all out at flagstick.com. I actually had a phone call yesterday or maybe the day before from somebody asking about certain divisions that we hadn't reported on, and I just kind of explained, we wait for that information.
We're at the mercy.
We have that information, we get it up, and we have the full results up there. And if we're waiting for any divisions to report that aren't in there yet, they'll be up as soon as we get them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a long process during that day, and again, we're always thankful for everybody who reaches out and gets stuff to us. We do have to do a little bit of work chasing some of that stuff, and some of it we don't always get. I think we're short still 2 division winners and 4 division results for that one, but I'm sure Sherry Thompson and the team will have that over soon, and we can get that filled in.
Exactly. And the Kingston Quinte intersectionals are kind of they're winding down as well, but the men's Division A intersectionals, Trillium Wood repeated as the men's A division.
Yeah, they played at Briar Fox on 27th of August, beat out Camden Brays. Briar Fox was 3rd there, and then Amherst was 18th, had 18 points there for 4th, so they'll be going down. Rivendell will be going up from Section 2. There's still some results we'll still have yet to post, and there's still some, the senior men's is still yet to go. I think that's this weekend. So we'll get some of that stuff up there. I know I'll say hi to Blair Harris right now, who helps out and gets communications out for that. He mentioned he heard us talking about him on the podcast last week.
And now he's hearing us talk about him on the podcast again this week.
Exactly. So thank you, Blair, for getting those. If people want a rundown of all the sections, we've got photos and results. We have that up on the website as well. And, we'll venture to get more of those out as soon as we get them in.
Awesome. A very long running event in Cornwall, the 66th annual Cornwall Open took place, and it's kind of a pro amateur type event. So there is a pro or an open division, and then there's an amateur division, and then there's B and C and seniors and all that kind of stuff as well. So it's a very big
Labor Day tradition.
Exactly. It's been going on for 66 years. Martin Plante of Balmoral was the low pro with 567. Outstanding
nice
golf. Very outstanding.
And significant. His round too is actually his front nine was 37. So think about that. Six birdie 30 on the back nine to end up winning by 1. So pretty impressive there for Martin. He just won over just over $2,200 in that one. Had a nice looking field for that. Again, those are results that we have all posted up at flagstick.com, and a very familiar name in A. I'll let you read that one out.
Musty.
Yeah.
A division, Robert Mustard with a smooth 69. Musty, come back to the Open, Musty.
Yeah,
we miss you. I haven't seen you in a couple of years. We want you back. So
I know he's a busy boy with kids and family and stuff, but another good win from him. Not too many players under par on the amateur side of it, but certainly some fine play there, a decent field. And then if people want complete scoring as well for the mix, the B, C, and the senior divisions, we have that all up at flagstick.com. Another event happening over the Labor Day weekend. People think I think they think on Labor Day weekend, I had a couple of people messaging me, are you doing this, are you doing that? They think we just got like our feet up on every weekend. People have to understand that on things like Sundays, for an example, despite the fact that maybe I'll sneak out in the morning and play golf, if there's tournament golf on, most of those results are coming in at nighttime. Same for this on the Monday. So we obviously try to venture to get it up there as quickly as possible, because Otherwise, we get the phone calls and the messages and the DMs. So obviously, as soon as we can get those results, we kind of get them up there. But thanks to everyone who helped out in getting those results to us as well.
Exactly. Now, down at Brockville, at the Brockville Country Club, another very long standing event, the 30th annual Friends of Palliative Care tournament took place at the Brockville Country Club.
Yep.
And it raised $325,000 for Brockville General Hospital. Yeah. That is an incredible number.
Think about that for one day.
That's insane. That is an incredible number. And of course, there's so many people involved in making that event happen. And we're just, we're so glad to see. I mean, Brockville's my original hometown. For those that have been listening to the podcast and know that Brockville is my original hometown. So it's exciting to see this. It really is. And that's just an incredible high number.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You see a lot of charity events, and obviously they're all, worthy causes. As you said, longstanding tournaments, some have struggled over the years, but this one hasn't. And really it's because of the chairs, it's people behind it. It's just the community. They realize how important it is because, eventually, unfortunately, a lot of us will have to make use of that, facility. And, the fact that 270 golfers would come out, all those sponsors within the community, a lot of them just long-standing supporters, they look forward to that every year to come out and for them to be able to raise that amount of money. I mean, kudos obviously to BCC for hosting and the whole team there and the many volunteers. I was digging through some of the pictures that they had available, and man, there were so many volunteers. And actually, you know what was really neat? The volunteers it doesn't say volunteers. What do you think it says across there? They have these vests on. It says friends. Which is great. It's not just volunteers, cool. It's friends. I mean, and that's really what it's about. It's people that are friends of this environment, and they want to make sure that it does well, and they're there raising money. So fantastic to them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Way to go.
One other quick note that's not on there. The Camelot Pro-Am just wrapped up. Jake Bryson from Dunrobin had his first pro win there, 68 out
Good
there.
For Jake.
I will note, man, I think the top four were all touring pros, which, probably not great for us club pros trying to play the Pro-Ams, but there was a number that were there. More guys that are playing more on a local level. Ty Salone, who actually just won the East Coast Pro Tour money list for the second time in a row, was in the mix there as well. Mac Boucher, Craig Stefferik, a few guys there. I think Lee Curry finished sixth. I think he was probably top among the club pro guys that were there.
Way to go. Nice job, Jake.
Yeah, I'm sure he was excited to get that win.
What did he shoot?
68. Yeah, some good golf.
That is good golf.
I think they had a beautiful day. It was nice and hot. I think that was on Tuesday. So
okay, cool. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, what we want to do here is we want to head out. To the lesson tee.
You didn't jump.
No, see, you put it in the freaking jump jar. Before we break, we're going to head out to the lesson tee presented by the Kevin Haime Golf School. It's always the right time to play better, whether you need private lessons or a better short game, some putting help, or custom club fitting. Visit kevinhaime.com. And remember that better golf is a lot more fun. So let's head on out to the lesson tee and see what Kevin and son Jake have in store for us this week.
Happy Tip Tuesday, golfers. Pretty good, Jaker, in the hole. Attaboy. Way to go. So, Jake, today we're helping people with their putting.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't need the help. Let's talk about what we're doing here. This setup we use for our clinics, our camps, with our coaching competitors, basically to help them visualize and to help them read putts. So, just explain a little bit about our setup here.
Yeah, the basic idea, everybody, is every putt is a straight putt. You just not be hitting straight at the hole. What you want to have is a target in the distance that you aim at. And basically, if you hit that target properly, the ball should fall off that line, and this is a great visual representation of that.
Yeah, idea. I love that. So we're not thinking about the hole at all. A lot of beginners do that. they maybe aim at the hole, try to push the putter out a little bit.
I see that all the time.
So this is your aiming point, if you will, and you'll see it's about 2 feet up. So we find that, and then we set the little, the line the golf ball should roll on. And you'll notice when you look at this, Jake, that the ball stays quite straight for quite a while, almost upwards of half the putt here. It may work off the line a little bit, but it's going to react to gravity as it's slowing down, right?
Yeah, depending on how much curve there is, the ball will start moving at different points. But when the ball's moving the quickest, it's going to fight gravity better. And that's why most putts, everybody, will do most of their braking close to the hole. So for that logic, it's actually really important to pay attention to what's happening at the hole when you read your putts, much more than it's important to understand what's happening when you're setting up to the golf ball.
Well, this is about a 15-footer, and for the first 10 feet, the ball has only fallen maybe 5 inches off the line, and then we get to 2 feet in the last few feet, right? So it really dives as it's losing its momentum, which is important to see. The other thing I will talk to good players about, Jake, is actually finding where that kind of flow point is, if you will. I don't like people aiming at an apex point because they'll tend to hit it too short then. But I will, with better players, walk the line and say, now, what do you think's going to happen here? At what point will the ball react to gravity and start flowing? So this is our whole world here, hitting a straight putt at this. But I think it's really important to visualize what might happen.
That's why you see so many pros, everybody, on Instagram or any kind of social media platform, or even when you're watching the broadcast, kind of simulating this visual using strings or tape on the greens. We're trying to practice making sure we're comfortable at hitting the ball at an intended target, hitting the putt on that start line, and if we get the pace right and we read our putt properly, it will fall into the hole from there.
Yeah, the planning and the visualizing, the artistic part of it is really important. Yeah. And then the rhythm of the stroke and the feel to make the ball do what we saw here. Clearly, you're pretty good at it. Well done, Jake.
That was a good putt.
There it is, everyone. If you're not going to set up a workstation like this, at least start visualizing your putts like this. But the most important thing is find your aiming line and then set up square to that. You'll make more putts.
Visualize, Scott. Visualize. It's important.
You got it.
Take heed of that little bit of instruction and
keep working on your game.
Yeah,
it's only September. You can work on your golf game all year long. I think too many people think the only time to work on their golf game is April, just before they get to head out to the golf course. But I can tell you the best students are working on their game, their technique, every part of their game all year long.
Exactly. If you want to improve, then you must practice.
Yes.
You must practice. You don't improve simply by playing. By playing, you ingrain the same mistakes that you've always been making because you're focusing more on scoring than you are on swinging the golf club. And that is my non-golf professional instruction tip for today. Maybe Thanks, Kevin wants to hire me. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to dive into some golf travel, Pinehurst, Sandhills region. You're going to love it because we've been there and we loved it too. So stay with us. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Flagstick Podcast with Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Adidas introduces the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 Vent footwear to help golfers handle the heat this season. Both the ZG23 Vent and Ultimate 365 Tour Apparel are available now on adidas.ca, the Adidas app, and selected retailers worldwide. And welcome back, everybody, to the Flagstick Podcast with Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. We are going to get into our back nine, and our back nine presented this week by Castleview Golf Club. Only a short 25-minute drive from Ottawa, this 18-hole layout is renowned for superb conditions and unsurpassed service, making it a must-play in the National Capital Region. 5, 10, and 20-round packages are available. Visit castleview.com for more information and to get yourself some of them packages.
You got it.
All right, Scotty Mac. I love this familiar destination. Little golf travel.
Yeah.
Golf travel chat.
I think we're going to have a bunch this year. I mean,
I think so.
There's a lot of destinations. We've got a few guests that are willing to come on and talk about some different places, but yeah, a place to start.
You sound like they're willing to. The guests willing to come on.
Willing to come
like
on.
It's like it's some kind of
torture,
scary torturous thought.
No.
It's like I don't know if I want to go on that.
Sometimes we want to hear.
Not.
Sometimes we want to hear voices besides ours. So
yes, exactly. But we're gonna head down to discuss.
No jumping.
No, see that I've made it through. See, stop bringing it up. If you stop bringing it up, I might not talk about it.
I'm poking at you like the jar.
I know, because you probably want the jar coming, and you think the money is going to belong to you. The jump jar's for me. I put the money in the jump jar, and then I keep it. Yeah,
you just said jump.
I know.
Anyways.
The jar.
So what are we talking about?
We're talking about Pinehurst. We're talking about the Sandhills region.
Home of American golf.
This is it. And this is a place where we have been
multiple times.
And man,
yeah, it's special.
It is a special place in a number of ways. Obviously,
yeah, definitely.
We think about Pinehurst. We think about Pinehurst Resort. We think about
of course,
the
as one person called it. It's the elephant in the area, but
yeah, yes, like it's there. Here it is, and it's I mean, the experience of going there, and I know that there's more there at the resort than there was the last time that we were there,
yeah, for sure.
But the experience,
and I've been there since you were last there, so yeah.
The experience of what we did the first time we went down there, and where we played,
that time
we played all 8 golf courses at Pinehurst that time. We stayed at the Carolina Resort, and we were playing 2-a-days, and just that whole experience of where once we got there to the resort and we were there, we never went to our car again the rest of the time there. Now, when we ventured off into the Aberdeen area and kind of got into some of the other courses off-site, we went to different hotels and stayed in different places. But when we were at the resort, basically it was just like shuttle.
It's much like St. Andrews in that way. You just get there and then you are immersed in the area, and you're not running around, as you said, jumping in the car, going here and there. So you just sort of feel like you're kind of living there. And what sort of prompted this, obviously it's a popular area, so it makes it one to talk about. But Pinehurst number 10, their 10th golf course, their 10th full-length golf course, I should say, because obviously they have a short course in the Cradle, is opening. They announced the date for opening is early April next year, which will coincide as well with them hosting the 2024 U.S. Open on Pinehurst number 2. So that's a Tom Doak course at Pinehurst number 10. The on-site architect is actually, and the lead there is Angela Mosier, which is kind of really cool. And that is actually over in the Aberdeen area, the piece of property that's over there. But, that sort of just sparked my reinvestigation of, let's look at the Sandhills region, because, man, it's so good. And I sense
something happening here, Scott.
What do you sense?
I sense something happening here as we talk about the opening of Pinehurst number 10 in April. I sense a sense a visit. I sense we have to. I feel like we have to dive in and go back and see. So many years later,
journalistic responsibility.
I believe that it is our journalistic responsibility to inform the people, and we can't rightfully inform the people in a correct way without firsthand experience and knowledge of the current situation. I see maybe a few phone calls, a few plans, something big.
Anyway. And there's a lot of stuff going on there. Obviously, the USGA's got a new headquarters that's being opened up down there. you know, as I said, I've been there since you were, but I mean, that's still like, I think my last trip there was 5 years ago, just as the cradle was getting open. But I think the big thing here is to start out and talk about, you know, Pinehurst Resort is obviously the root of everything in that Sandhills, that region, you know, opening in 1895. You know, and obviously developed into an iconic place where, you know, so many championships and everything has been held. And there's a lot to do with that. Not everybody's going to be able to afford to stay there, but there is a lot of other golf that's around there. In fact, over 40 golf courses within 15 miles. And so when we talk about Pinehurst, we're really talking about that region, and people should know that, you know, just because they all of a sudden Google the Pinehurst Resort and go, ooh, okay, maybe that's not, maybe I'm not staying there for 5 nights, and maybe I'm not playing number 2 every day. You know, it is sort of a once in a lifetime sort of thing. Understand that there's a lot more to it than that. And if you actually go to that Home of Golf website that they have, it lists a lot more things. And, you know, really what I wanted to get into here a little bit is kind of what your impressions were the first time. I know what mine are, and I know what they've been in supplementary visits or whatever, but, you know, what is it that makes Pinehurst special in your brain? You tell me.
Wow. God, there's so many things that made it special. I just like, I guess going back to, it's not like like your normal resort. It's like, it's Pinehurst is a town. Do you know what I mean? So like, when you go to a golf resort, you go to the resort, there may be multiple golf courses around. There's restaurants on the resort and stuff like that. You got that feeling of, I'm staying in a really, really nice hotel with golf courses around me. When you go to Pinehurst, it's not just about the Carolina, like that part of it. That's one aspect of it. But when you're in the town, the golf courses
and it's a village, we should say. Town even makes it sound bigger.
Yeah, it's small.
It is a quaint,
and there's shops,
little place.
There's little shops and there's little restaurants and there's boutiques and it's and there's
pubs
dwellings and like, it's just, it's a feeling that you get when you're there, that just, you know, you're kind of like walking through. I mean, it reminds me a little bit, and I think it's even a little smaller than this, but when you go to Westport, and you walk into, and you're in Westport, and it's cottage country, and there's the lake, and there's a couple of golf courses.
Everybody's
there.
Relaxed. Everybody's
just chill. There's a marina and whatnot. Like, you're just kind of like, everyone's just chill. That's what it's like. You're just so chill, so relaxed. So
I think it's probably because people are just happy to be there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I was happy to be there.
Yeah, I mean, they're excited to be there, and you know, I think it's one of those places that, you know, if people think about a dream of what a golf village would look like, you know, obviously we talk about St. Andrews, lots of different places or whatever, but it's one of those where you step in, you're like, is this real?
Yeah.
I mean, driving in there, than the golf courses themselves. I mean, you just see them from the roadway, right?
And there's so much of it. That's the thing. It's like, there's soon to be 10, not including the short course at the Cradle. So, you know, it's that's my big thing. The other big impression I had, obviously, the Carolina was a very, just, again, the laid back nature of it, the rocking chairs on the porch and the slow spinning fans and the putting green out there, and, you know, the bars, and
Ryder Cup Lounge.
The Ryder Cup Lounge. Like, everything about it was just like, you know, you show up and you just exist for, in our case, I think we were there for
that time.
4 or 5 days. I forget how.
No, we were at least that time, because we played, I think it was 4.5 days just to play the 8. And then, you know, like I said, I've been back for multiple trips on various lengths of time and so forth, but you're right. You don't think of anything else. It's just golf. It's just purity as far as the golf is concerned. And you know, you've got the history there. And I should say as well, I mean, one of the points here, I've stopped into the town where I haven't played golf. I've gone off course to go there. Well, let's say it's not on a major highway. You know, but the thing is that you can actually go through there and just go through the village. You can do a clubhouse tour, which people should do if they're staying there. But even if they're driving through or driving nearby and you're a golfer, you could stop there and park. And, it's not like it's, not New York City. There's not a meter running or whatever like this. You just park, go into the massive clubhouse, which is the center of the main part of the facility as far as courses. And then, you can walk through and see the trophies, the memorabilia, the photographs. You could have lunch at the Donald Ross Grill. You could have, you could have a drink at the Deuce, which is their patio, their bar that now overlooks the hole or course number 2, the 18th hole. You can do that without staying there.
Yeah.
And that's a cool part. And they really welcome people there. And, I think it's only going to get even better there. The World Golf Hall of Fame is relocating there. They've just closed at Jacksonville. And, it'll be a little bit before they get that facility open there. But originally it was the World Golf Hall of Fame used to be in the Pinehurst area. And now it's returning there, which is fabulous. So I think it's just becoming a stronger and stronger mecca for golf. And there's a lot of Canadians there. It's a popular spot in the shoulder season. I'm not saying you should be heading there in the dead of December or January.
No.
That might be a little risky. It is North Carolina after all, but certainly at the shoulder part of the season and the early part of the year, it's definitely a spot that should be on your bucket list. And for us, we're in Eastern Ontario in Canada. It's about 1,400 kilometers from here, so about a 14-hour drive. People can break that up. If they want to fly, they can, just go into Raleigh, and you're just a little bit south of that if you want to go in that way. And it's one of those places though that, like, once you get south of Raleigh and you start getting towards it, you start getting excited because you know kind of what's ahead of you. And it doesn't matter whether you're, 14 or 41 or older. You're going to be like a kid in a candy store getting ready to go there. But we should say we have stayed there and stayed at other places as well, which we could probably get into. Little River, Homewood Suites. We've stayed at a variety of accommodations there.
Yeah, Homewood Suites was nice.
Yeah, Homewood Suites is definitely, well, except for your brother there. But anyways, we'll leave that out. But Homewood Suites is located not far from the resort, but it's one of the other many accommodations that are there. And we should say as well is that, if people are going to go, there are a lot of packagers as well down there. People think of packages, they think of Myrtle Beach and so forth, which is another destination we'll get to. We've had some recent outreach from our friends there that want to have a little chat about that as well. But there are definitely some accommodations that have packages available. Some of them will have some access to the resort courses, but some of them have a lot of other golf courses that are either they're based at, or they will have access to tee time. So I would say don't shy away. Don't think all of a sudden you have to go there and okay, I've got to plan out this trip and I got to book all my tee times and whatever. Certainly there are packagers that will help you out.
Oh, for sure.
And put together, they've got great advice where to go, restaurants, things like that. I know Little River, when we went there,
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great spot. So just north of town there, I believe that was the one we were playing Tobacco Road as well. But Little River, for an example, they have their own golf course, which is fabulous. You're staying in a hotel condo, nicely priced. You've got spots there where you can get a foursome into, they've got rooms for foursomes. So that's the cool part about this area. It's designed for golfers, so they understand golfers. So you're going to see accommodations that are designed for foursomes, eightsomes. That they're not freaking out when all of a sudden you say we have 5 foursomes coming in. They're like, okay, that's fine.
Exactly.
And so they have the places set up for that. If you want to, a lot of them are, they've got places with kitchens and stuff in there. So if you want to drop over to Aberdeen and go to the Piggly Wiggly and pick up a bunch of food, you want to go to restaurants every night. You can obviously treat yourself here and there, but if you want to keep the cost down, you've got that option as well, as far as doing that. And like I said, a place like Little River, for an example, Pine Needles, Mid Pines, there's a ton of places that have their own accommodations and have a golf course as well. Tallamore, where you can basically use their course as your home base, and then kind of go out from there to play other ones. And in the end, it's just about playing as much golf as possible in a lot of cases, and just some great spots. So people should just recognize that there are packagers there. If they need more information on this, they can always reach out to us, but homeofgolf.com is probably the best way to go look at it. For sure. But yes, there's different ways to tackle kind of this destination more than anything. So
and it was some of the courses that we played off the Pinehurst property that were very intriguing to say the least. I mean, Tobacco Road is obviously the one that first popped to mind, just because of very remote too, like the way we got, like the way you go into, which is a lot of them are like that, but not much around there. It's an old tobacco farm. The little nuances there where the clubhouse is basically just a small little cottage
log house,
not really much to it. The driving range, your golf balls came in a little burlap bag, and it was nothing. It just seemed very ho-hum, but it wasn't. It was that ho-hum that made it not ho-hum, I guess, is the point.
It's well thought out. That's for sure.
And the golf course is extraordinary. Obviously, it's something that you just will not see that type of a golf course anywhere around here. Like just not.
It's a Mike Strand's design. There's a great Court Crenshaw of them in Dormy. We played 7 legs. There's so many that we played kind of in that region. Forest Creek, which unfortunately not everybody's going to get access to. It's a private club, but there are definitely a few clubs that are private clubs that are around there. But you know what? If you're looking to fill 2 days, 4 days, 6 days, 7 days, you can certainly fill it up. And there's definitely different budget ranges, which is kind of nice as well. If you want to go for the big treats, you can go for the 2s, you can do the 4s at Pinehurst. You've got that environment as well where you can play the Cradle, Thistledew, which is the putting course at Pinehurst. The neat part is everybody's a golfer. Like you look around, and
you don't go there you don't really go there necessarily if you're not
really. They have some amenities and stuff. The resort itself obviously has like a spa, and there's some different things, but in generally most cases, the people that you're going to see around the village and so forth, they're golfers, right? There's some people that are there for antiquing and stuff, but most of the places now, there's a couple of breweries there now and things where, brew pubs where people are going to go. If you want to explore the historic aspects of things, you can go to the Tufts Archives, which is located at the library in town. You can go look through the whole Donald Ross, all 400 plus golf courses that, he designed. They have all the sketches that are there. It's like a little museum to Pinehurst. There's just a lot of cool elements. And if you have an appreciation for history, it's just where it's at. And like you said, it's that feeling that you get, that vibe when you're walking the hallways at the Carolina, and you see all the photos on the wall of Ryder Cups and US Opens, and it's just amazing, the history that's been there. And almost every great player in the game has been through that town.
I would, if I had one small little piece of advice for anybody that was planning a trip down there, the first time that we did it, I'm pretty sure we did 9 courses in 11 days, and we drove there. We drove down, we drove back. We did 9 courses in 11 days, and that 11 days included the drive down, the drive back.
Right.
I would, if I were you, gap your time down definitely. There. Don't do 2 a days every day. Do some 1 a days in there. Do some morning ones. Do some afternoon ones. Give yourself some time to explore a little bit the area, whether it's the village itself or whether it's outside the village. To just kind of give yourself a little bit of breathing time in there, because you'll appreciate the golf part of it that much more if you throw a little bit of breathing time in. I felt that first time, that was back when we were doing road trips every fall. And that's what we did. We were jamming golf in left, right, and center, because we were young and we were full of energy,
vigor.
And I guarantee by the time we got to about the sixth day, we were starting to burn out, and we still had lots of golf to play. So pace yourself on those trips. You'll appreciate them a lot more. Pinehurst is not Myrtle Beach, when it comes to
nightlife and
the nightlife side of it. It's a lot more laid back and a lot more, in my opinion anyway. I mean, I'm sure there's parts of Myrtle Beach that you can take on that way, but I think Myrtle Beach is a little bit more go.
Yeah, a little bit more commercial.
Yeah.
Because obviously Myrtle Beach still has the family element. They still have a lot of people that go there that are not golf. They're just going there for the beach and amusement side of thing or whatever. So what you'll find here is there's less chains and stuff. You'll still find an Outback Steakhouse or Dickie's barbecue pit or whatever, but you're more likely to have a meal at the Magnolia or the 1895 Grill or something like that. There's, like I said, there's great spots in the clubhouse and so forth, and there is definitely some good dining. There's some casual stuff if you want to go into town, but town is, when I say town, I mean more like Aberdeen area, the village of Pinehurst itself, a few pubs, small restaurants and so forth, but doesn't have that big commercial feel, which is kind of nice. People just sort of want to unplug.
I think again that was one of the
golf.
That was one of the draws to it, is just to kind of, here we are. You're just kind of existing for a little while, and you don't have all that other bright sky or bright shiny lights all over the place and malls and stuff like that.
Well, I think what you said is a really good thing. I mean, if you go out and play, let's say you play one golf course in the morning or something, I mean, even just being over by that clubhouse and sitting on the porch and watching other players tee off on number one or number two on the first tee, or play the cradle, or coming in on 18 on number two, and you see how much enjoyment they're getting out of the game. That's part of the fun as well. It's just sitting around and kind of being that casual. I have had that opportunity in a couple other visits where it was just a little bit more casual, but you're right, that intensity of golf.
Yeah.
I think you miss the real essence of the Sandhills region if you're doing that.
Well, I think the second trip that we did, where we played we only played number two. I believe. I
think we played 4 and 2 on that.
4 and 2, but we had caddies the second go around. We also, that was when we played the Tar Heels course, and we played.
We were up in Raleigh as well.
We did sort of it was a little different trip, but there was a lot more. The golf was a little bit more spaced out. That's when we did Dormy Club that trip as well. And then, of course, we did the sojourn over to Lowe's Motor Speedway for the
Charlotte,
the night race. Charlotte, but we had more gap in that schedule than the first time we did it, which was oddly enough was right around 9/11. So that was an interesting trip as well, right? So Sean was with us on that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, just overall, it's a great spot, whether it's a buddy's trip, a couple's trip. You've got some groups and stuff, but again, you can really tailor it towards what you want. Just be advised, from a cost perspective, you may have to dig into some of the, the deeper part of the shoulder season to keep your costs down. Some of the golf courses are definitely more popular than others. But don't shy away from some of the other ones that are, we'll call them further down the list. And that goes at the resort as well. We had just as much of a fun time on number 1 and number 3 and number 5.
100%.
Of course, the courses that are not
much easier to play.
I mean, a lot of people, obviously target 2, 4, 7, 8. Well, probably not 7 as much, but 8. Now it'll be 9 and 10, cradle and so forth. But the other ones, mix them in. You'll enjoy them too.
1 and 3 were fun. I enjoyed those. A little bit shorter. The green complexes are obviously very upside down salad bowl-ish and very tough short courses. So no pushovers, just don't have the notoriety behind them, I guess.
Yeah, but they're in the same environment. You're still getting all that sand. I mean, the region why it's called the Sandhills region is it's all sand underneath there. It's which is the beautiful part. So the turf is way different. So again, it has that feel between the combination of the turf, the trees, just just something to it. Yeah. So just overall, like I said, worth investigating. When people ask, where's a good fall destination to go to, definitely send them to the Sandhills region, but also don't tell them, you have to go to the resort to play. I mean, yes, a lot of people obviously want to knock that off the list. And even if they go there and don't play it, they'll probably want to go back and play it at some point. But you can enjoy that region without necessarily playing there. And I know a lot of people that have done the big trip, stayed at the resort, stayed at one of their properties, played 2, 4 a number of courses there, but they've also, a lot of those people have gone back and done other trips to the region and just played a lot of the other courses as well. Maybe visit the clubhouse, maybe hop over to the Carolina and have a drink at the Ryder Cup bar. They're still around it, but you can enjoy it. So anyways, those are my thoughts.
All right, well, I think let's make it a point of at least considering the discussion that we go back.
Sure.
And we make a return. We go back. So, because now you got me excited about it.
It's hard not to be.
We haven't done a trip. I mean, honestly, you've gone places obviously since COVID passed by and all that. Well, passed by, but since forget I even brought it up. Since COVID shut everything down for so long, you've done a few trips, but I think we haven't done a trip in a long time. And maybe it's time that we did that again. I mean, I also have a young son that's an avid golfer that maybe might want to jump into be a third wheel to jump into a trip like that. I'm sure that he'd appreciate. I understand something about him is he really far more appreciates the golf courses that he plays when they're when he gets to play the golf courses that have the history. He very much appreciates where he is more than he cares about what he shoots, which makes him perfect for these kinds of trips because we played. I think I've discussed this before. He's been dealing with a hip issue and finally had surgery on that hip yesterday and is now recovering from it. But leading into that, really wanted to play get some last hurrahs of golf, and he had sort of he created his bucket list, his pre-surgical bucket list, and I tried the best that I could to kind of get as many of those golf courses on his bucket list taken care of before the surgery, because now he's not going to likely play again until next spring. And we played our Smugglers match that we talked about, and obviously Smugglers getting back there and playing again was one of the courses he wanted to get on. That was easy enough. But then he also had Royal Ottawa and Hunt Club were on this list. And as we know, Royal Ottawa is very private, Hunt Club's very private. And yes, we are in the industry here and we do have a few contacts, but I generally don't like to call in favors or ask to play golf courses. I just don't feel right about it. But in this case, I did. And I made a couple of calls and it was, I have to say, huge thanks to Derek McDonald and his wife Jenny for playing, for Derek for arranging for us to play Royal Ottawa, and for the Royal Ottawa for allowing us to get out there and play. We got out there to play last weekend, and it was awesome. I'd forgotten I hadn't played it in probably 15 years, maybe even longer.
And it's I mean for a historic club, it gets better all the time. That practice facility is
amazing. Just loved it. Had a great time playing there. So much fun. But he really appreciated the golf course that he was on. Like he appreciated the history of what he was seeing. And then the next day, again, special thanks to Mark Peterson and the Hunt Club for getting us out to play there. We were able to get out and play the Hunt Club. We played the Northwest combination, which was amazing. I haven't played the North course in forever. Like this is going back to almost time when I started the magazine.
Good it is.
That North course is something special.
Underrated.
Like, it really don't. It is very much, and nobody talks about it because it's not the tournament course. It's not now. Back when I originally played it, it was like the red, the gold, and the blue course.
Right.
But that combination, that was just amazing. And again, he had an amazing time. I'd played, the tournament course, the east-west, I guess it would be,
Southwest,
or the southwest.
Yeah.
I played that combination last year, and loved it, obviously. But this was great. Get out and play. So we got two of the bucket list courses. There's a couple more on that list, but we ran out of time, and I ran out of energy.
Yeah, that's
4 rounds of golf in 4 days for me was oh my God,
a little much. I really like to hear that, actually, because I mean, too many people, unfortunately, I think, judge their experience at golf courses based on how they played.
Yes.
Rather than really appreciating what's in front of them. And as you know, when we go on the road trips and stuff, we like to play well.
It ain't about how we play.
No, you love to see it. You love to get into the nuances of it, to basically be able to, one, appreciate it, and two, bring that information back for our golf community and to be able to inform them and let them know. So exactly, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that for him.
Which makes him road trip worthy.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
So you hear that, Brandon? Brandon, if you're listening to the podcast after we release this, you're road trip worthy material.
Yeah, people are finding out how they can be road trip worthy. They all think they have to be good golfers.
No, appreciate. You have to be able to appreciate where you are, more so than how you play. That's what 100%. Makes you road trip worthy.
Love it.
It makes you more fun to be with. And on that note,
all right,
let's put a wrap on this episode of the Flagstick Podcast. Great little discussion in the back nine and really awesome talk. We're going to have more of these. This is the way things are going to be going through into the we'll call it the shoulder season of golf for us, even though there's still tons of golf left to play. But we're going to have more conversations like this, more discussions about places we've been, equipment, things we like to do, people we meet. It's going to be a little bit different moving forward, and we're glad that you're all here to take it in with us. So that's a wrap. Thanks, of course, to our sponsors, Metcalfe Golf Club, Castleview Golf Club, Kevin Haime Golf Center, and our presenting sponsor this week, Adidas, introducing the Ultimate 365 Tour Heat Apparel and ZG23 event footwear to help golfers handle the sweltering heat this season. The collection features a mix of silhouettes for men and women with heat-ready and no-show technology to help keep golfers cool and dry so they can perform their best. Both the ZG23 event and Ultimate 365 Tour Apparel are available at Adidas.ca and the Adidas app, as well as selected retailers worldwide. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying and watching and listening. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, X, and Facebook. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts. Do not forget to hit us up on the YouTube channel. Like us, click the notification bell, and make sure you never miss a single episode ever. Get over to flagstick.com for even a more amazing golf content delivered every single day. Every day. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Until next week, I am Jeff Botter.
And I'm Scott McLeod.
Remember, always go for the stick.